Well, for many teens who identify as LGBTQ+, coming out to your family is one of the hardest things. This is especially true if you are growing up in a home where you don't feel comfortable expressing your thoughts and emotions. So how can we foster an environment that's loving and accepting, since we know it's crucial for a child or anyone's mental health and well-being? Parenting expert Bethelene Hart joins me now with some answers. Great to have you in studio.
Thank you. Great to be here. Thank you.
So your daughter came out to you when she was 13. We would love to hear more about what that was like for the whole family and for you, and how that conversation went.
Okay, so my background is in children's mental health, so it kind of come through with that lens. And she was 13 and wanted to get her hair cut. She had very long, curly hair, wanted to get a haircut, which is great. That doesn't mean anything, but as she got her hair cut, the stylist asked her, "Oh, how do you like your hair?" She goes, "Shorter." And then, "How's that?" "Shorter." And I saw her transformation. She went from sort of my little girl looking really androgynous, and not that if a child wants to have a haircut it's going to mean anything, but I felt like she was making a statement. And then she asked if she could go to Pride Parade. So I said, "Oh, you know, how do you identify sexually?" And she said, "Well, I'm pansexual." And I said, "Well, this is 10 years ago, and I didn't really know." And I said, "Would you please educate me?" And she said, "Well, it doesn't matter the sex or gender of the person, it's just the person." And I said, "Okay." And she said, "How do you feel about that?" And I said, "You love who you love. That's your path, you know." But she said, I said, "You know, my job as a parent was make sure that I've raised you to feel confident and be authentic to who you are, and, you know, live your life authentically." And she thanked me and she said, "Mom, I have friends who are scared to come out to their parents, or have already and haven't been received well." So that was our conversation. But I think because I'd laid a bit of a foundation at home already anyway, that the kids could come to me with difficult conversations.
Yeah, you had a toolbox that I think a lot of people don't necessarily have. So we're hoping to add some tools to your toolbox at home today.
Definitely.
Bethelene, you have some tips to share about what kind of language we can use in our homes to help build that type of supportive and open bond that you have with your child. What are some of your tips?
Right from a really young age is allowing kids to come to you with difficult things and how you respond to that. So if you have a little one that knocked over the cup or broke the lamp, if we have a big reaction to that, that's going to make them go underground. They're not going to feel comfortable coming to you. So if you show a reaction that's more positive, it sort of sets them up to feel like, "Oh, I can come to you with the bigger things." And as my kids got older, we had a phrase, and it was, "Mom, I need to tell you something, but I'm worried you might be upset." I said, "If you guys tell me that," 'cause I raised 4 children and a stepdaughter, so we've been through it. I said, "If you guys tell me that, then I know I'm grounded." And so when they would come to me, then I'd say, "Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for trusting me with that," or "That took a lot of courage to tell me that." I was like, "And how do you want to handle it?" Like trusting them that they could handle it. "So how do you want to handle that, or do you need my help with this?" And it allowed them to know that I had faith in them, but that they also could come to me. I wasn't going to overreact, and that I wanted a loving, trusting relationship with my kids. I wanted them to feel safe to come to me, because if they don't, it goes underground, and then they turn to maybe their peers, which is fine, but they're not going to be always give them the best advice.
You know, I hear a lot of you asking them questions. Really like open, honest, gentle questions, as opposed to telling them how you feel. And I think a lot of us, our inclinations when someone shares something with us is to say, "Well, I." And I didn't hear you say that at all. The only I heard you said was, "How can I help you?" That's pretty remarkable. There can obviously be some big feelings when your child comes out, including fear, fear of judgment, fear of pain and suffering from society and around them. How do we handle those feelings that we might be having before we talk to our child?
It can be tough because parents, not everybody is comfortable with it. It may not align to their values or their beliefs. And I always say go in with curiosity, but if the parent is feeling overwhelmed, work that through first, because the child really is not responsible to carry the emotional heavy lifting of the parent. And oftentimes parents be like, "Oh, I'm feeling grief," and now your child is like carrying the load of their comment to you. They're feeling like, "Oh, now I feel guilty about this." So work it through first, and so that you're in a good state to be able to talk to your child about it. And we can't change who our kids are, so we just want to embrace who they are and work through our own stuff if we need to.
I read one time that so many times children just want to know that they're cared for and that they're taken care of and that they're loved. And if you can offer them that in that moment, I think you're hitting so many milestones that so many parents don't. Bethelene, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was an important conversation. And people can reach me at parentingbyheart.com if they want to talk more about this.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.